So no, do me a favor again. Just repeat for anyone who missed it what you've just said.
It's clear the people that hate Ole Gunnar the people that hate Bruno Fernandes right now, they are the same people that want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be fired.
Yeah,
The same people.
and you think that them trying to play down
And
Bruno, their attack at Bruno is because they know that his performances are keeping Ollie here, so he is almost kind of a big part of the problem, because if Bruno wasn't performing, if Bruno wasn't seen as such a brilliant signing and player, it would make it a lot easier and quicker to get rid of Ollie.
exactly. And you can trace it also. All the signings that have been good for Ole, they've downed them. They've made them look like shit. Even when they're playing well, those same fans, they've downed all of them, including Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, all of them. Even the players that were doing good before, they've destroyed them. Football is playing between in the brain. If your brain is not right, you can play football. That's why Marshall is missing chances that he normally scores before, because his mind right now is not in the right place. He's playing very poorly right now because of that. And that is what they're psychologically attacking our players, so that they can play badly and they can get what they want.
I have to say, I think you're right. I've been racking my brains for weeks, legitimately racking my brains for weeks, sitting here thinking to myself, I don't understand. I get some people that they're massive Pogba fans and they're unhappy that Paul Pogba doesn't get as much love as Bruno Fernandes, and I feel the same as them in that way. But it doesn't make me dislike Bruno. It isn't Bruno Fernandes' fault. But I think what you've just said is the nail on the head. It's arguably the best point. I mean this, Nelson. I think you've just made the best point in the history of the football terrace. I mean that sincerely. It's absolutely spot on.
But don't get it wrong. Also, of course, they're using one stone to kill two birds. They also want Pogba to be the best player in the team. They want Pogba to be the guy that everybody looks up to. But it's not working out for Pogba in Manchester United, and it's very understandable why Pogba plays well for France and why he played well in Italy and he doesn't play well in England. At least not in enough games to call himself a great player. It's understandable. I don't understand why people just want to kill themselves on the Pogba's bridge. It won't work out. It's not like I hate him. He's a good player. He has skills. He has the ability. But the English game is fast. And if you look at international football, what we know about international football, they are very slow. It is very, very slow. You hardly see an international game played at the same pace as you see the Premier League played, because the players, they don't play too much together. So they have to look for a pass before they give the pass. But in the Premier League, they don't look for the pass. They just give it because they know where their players are supposed to be. And in Italian game, there's enough space for Pogba to do his thing. But in the Premier League, he can't do it. It's not every week that he will be given that license to do that kind of stuff. Sometimes some manager will just put a player on him, and that's over. Pogba can't do anything anymore. They just crowd him. And it is not about Pogba being a bad player or a good player. It's just something he has to understand. Like, okay, I'm not being given space to do what I need to do. Let me just simplify my game and move the ball, keep the ball rolling until they give me the space I need, at least for the first 20 or 30 minutes. Then I have space, then I can continue doing my stuff. But Pogba, no, he wants to always prove himself.
And that's listen, Nelson, I completely get where you are coming from. I really appreciate your call. Thank you very much for coming on. Everyone else who's watching live right now, call up. I want your thoughts on that. Is Bruno Fernandes is the witch hunt for Bruno Fernandes a kind of means to an end for the Ollie out brigade to push him forward? And when you sit there and think about it, the likes of Rashford and the likes of Martial have had their best seasons in their United careers under Ollie, and very little of that gets attributed to Ollie, his coaching, his development of these individuals. A lot of people love Mason Greenwood, and these people never want to thank and say anything positive about Ollie towards him. I saw in the press conference on the other day, I want to say it was on the Friday, I don't know, he said something along the lines of, Ollie said something along the lines of, if we had the crowd here, we probably would have won some more games at home. Well, in fact, I mean, he's speaking facts. Never after 9 games each in a Premier League season have there been in a So I read this came out the other day. This is a legitimate madness when I read this. Never in top flight English football history, after the first 9 games played, has there been more away wins than home wins. Never ever happened, and that's currently ongoing. Doesn't excuse Man United's poor home record. It doesn't. But people were more fixated on Ollie saying that the Stretford End would have sucked a few more balls over the line and made us win. Everyone knows that happens at Old Trafford. The Stretford End is amazing. The Ollie haters were more focused on that than they were the fact that he brilliantly and articulately defended Mason Greenwood and Paul Pogba. So do you think that's right? I want you to give us a call right now. Are people attacking Bruno Fernandes because they want Ollie out? Is that the reason? Yusuf's on the line with us now. Yusuf, what you saying, mate?
Hey, what's up? I just wanted to talk about a couple of points for Ollie. So the first thing, have you seen the polls that they've done about the most hated player in the Premier League?
No. Who's done these polls?
BBC, I think.
Yeah, I haven't seen them, no.
I'm pretty sure Bruno Fernandes was the most hated player in the Premier League. And that's a good thing. That's what we want as United fans. We want rivals to hate our players because they're good, because they know that those players can change games in a split second. They hate Bruno because his numbers are insane. They think he's too good for us. And that's what we want. We want them to, whenever they play against us, they're like, oh, Bruno, this guy, United weren't playing good and he won them the game and whatever. Bruno is the best signing we've done since Robin van Persie. There's no question about it.
And I understand that. And I understand it, Yusuf. Yeah. Let me ask you the question that was brought up by Nelson earlier on. Do you think there's a lot of United fans who attack Bruno Fernandes, gives the ball away too much, which is true. Well, let me rephrase that. He gives the ball away a lot, which is true, but no more so than any other highly creative and highly influential player in that position. Do you think they're going after him because it's a means to an end? They look at him as, Bruno Fernandes' performance and impact since coming here is the only reason that they have to endure Ollie.
I think there's something in that, and I think sometimes our fans, they look at rivals, and the rivals usually say, oh, Bruno isn't good, he didn't do well this game. Although he would have been scoring like 2 goals and gave like 2 assists in that game, they'd still say he wasn't playing good. It's just agenda. They don't want United to be back to where they're supposed to be. So our fans need to think on their own. They shouldn't hear what other people say. Think about it. What does Bruno do on a game basis? Even that game when we played against West Brom, a lot of people think that's our worst game. I think it's a positive game because we usually lose these games. We've created chances in that game, but we haven't finished them. But we still want. That's what we want. We want to be able to scrap the wins. When Spurs did it, everyone took it as a positive. When we did it, everyone's like, United's done. This is not acceptable. This is what we need to do. We need to win those scrappy games for us to be able to contend in the future. This is a mentality thing where you gotta be always on top, even when you're playing badly. So that's all I think.
Mate, and I understand that completely. Yusuf, thank you very much for your call, my friend. Thank you. Really good points being made. That I want to hear from more of you. The Skype lines are open. Search Football Terrace FC on Skype. Give us a call. I still want to speak Martial. I still want to speak Upper Meccano. But the point made earlier by Nelson on Bruno, I just think the nail's been hit on the head there. I've been racking my brains for weeks, not being able to really understand why there is so much negativity from Man United fans towards him. And that's the big key thing. From Man United fans towards him, there's so much animosity. There's so much just bile that doesn't need to exist. Let's do some of your comments here. Bert here in the live chat says, Ollie outers and Pogba fanboys are spreading Bruno agenda because it suits their narrative. Another member here, Jose Mourinho, that's his name, that's his username, says, Terry, come on. Other teams get the job done with no fans. Jose Mourinho, so you're not listening. Ollie, oh, I love you, bro. You're a member. I have to speak it as I find it. Ollie's not excusing things. This is what happens with Ollie. When Ollie protects his players or his club by saying something like, look, he knows the home form's bad. If he comes out, I like the fact that he doesn't come out and say, it's terrible, the players have got to do better, we've got to do better. And he's negative. He's upbeat about he's kind of the areas that need development. He's upbeat about. He'll say things like, "It isn't good enough. We know we need to improve. It's a shame the fans are not here. They'd have really helped us. But we're going to move forward. It's going to be okay." I like that positive feel. I like the fact that he's diplomatic and political in the way he answers these questions, other than being kind of overly forthright. Because the way articles will be generated, he could say something positive, and the media will still twist it into a negative. If he said something like, "Listen, if we had our shooting boots on a little bit more, we'd be in a better position," and it would be Ollie attacks Anthony Martial. That is how, and then the same people hating on his positive comments be like, "How dare he go after my player in public?" So he just keeps it very, very simplistic. Yes, you're right. Other teams have done better jobs than Man United at home this season with no fans. I'm not denying that, but the facts remain. This is the first time in top flight football history in England that after the first 9 games, there's been more away wins than home wins. So it tells you that home form has been poor. Ours has been excessively poor. There is no doubt about it. Equally, our away form has been absolutely out of this world. But again, Ollie outers, and I don't put myself in their category because they're a mob and they're a little bit poisonous, they're a little bit thuggish. They don't want to recognise any of this. But we're talking Bruno Fernandes here. Is he getting all this attention because people see him as the reason that Ollie remains at the club? We've got Z on the line. Z, what you saying, bro?
I'm good, brother. How are you this morning?
Yeah, I'm well, mate. I'm well, thank you.
Good. So what are you doing? Bruno, Upamecano,
No, I'd like. Yeah,
Martial?
first of all, give me your thoughts on this Bruno thing. In terms of, do you think people are going at him because they see him as you say, sort of the saviour of Ollie, and that rattles them?
Yeah, like I said, I always say when you're a United player, you're going to get scrutiny from the rivals. I have no rivals who are afraid to admit Ronaldo is the best player in the world because for the simple fact that he played for United.
Yeah.
So it's what's to be expected. To be honest, do I think Bruno's the greatest footballer on the eye? No, he isn't. And this is what I said to someone the other day, right? I work in sales, so Pogba, right? And you work in the sales environment. So you see Pogba. Pogba's the guy that comes in on a high salary. When you come in on a high salary, you're expected to hit the ground running, bang, get those sales out. Bruno, for me, was seen as the guy that just came in as just a normal recruitment consultant, and after rose up to hitting the heights of a senior. We know his capabilities aren't as great as Pogba's. His attributes ain't as great as Pogba's, but he's hit those standards, and that's why us United fans are happy with him. We know deep down that he is not better than Pogba. We know deep down that he's not better than Van der Beek, but it's just what he's going out there to achieve. And I think that's some of the things that people get confused and think us United fans are automatically saying, "Oh, he's the best." No, statistically, he's the best for what he's produced, but on the eye, he's not the best. And that's what people just need to understand. But if someone's giving us 3 points, we're not going to complain. How many sloppy players have played in the past and managed to grind teams out 3 points? They never complained.
Yeah, look, I think on Van der Beek, we want to see him play a little bit more. I don't think Man United fans would argue with that. The Pogba situation is so interesting because technically, as a football player and on ability, no doubt, Paul Pogba is a better football player than Bruno Fernandes. But that's where it becomes embarrassing for Paul Pogba because in an attacking sense, Bruno outperformed you. And I know people say things, the irony, bruv. Yeah, but it's penalties. These same Pogba fanboys, when Pogba scored 16 goals in a season, defended the fact that quite a few of them were penalties. I absolutely, the irony in it is absolutely amazing. It stinks like morning breath, bruv. like morning breath mixed with coffee. Do you get what I mean? Remember that teacher that bad coffee morning breath? That is what Paul Pogba's fanboys sound like when they. That's I feel like that's what their breath must smell like. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like they just hypocrisize themselves, and equally this giving the ball away. I heard a massive Pogba fanboy the other day say, well, Bruno loses it in attacking positions 25 times a game on average. It's too much. Paul Pogba this season, in a deeper role where it's far more important to retain possession, has lost the ball on average 20 times per game. So, you sit there. But that's my point here. This is where outputs become very, very important and not just goals and assists. I expect Paul Pogba to deliver more than Bruno Fernandes. Why? Because he's a better football player. And I'm talking overall for the team. And he simply doesn't. And that's why, and I know that's why it rattles people. And for me, of course, I want the best technically gifted and the players with the most ability at Man United to perform the best and be the best. I want them to achieve everything. But if somebody comes in at a fraction of the price with less ability, but they're delivering, I'm going to love them for it. Why? Because they're delivering for my team. And for me, beyond my own narcissism and my own subjectivity towards particular players, everyone knows I'm a big fan of Rashford. But if we went and signed Jadon Sancho next week, or we went and signed Traore from Wolves, and they came in and they kept Rashford out of the team, and they outperformed and they made us a better football team, you wouldn't see me gripe or moan or cry, because my sole objective is for Man United to improve. And on Bruno Fernandes, if you look at the I did it like for like. If you look at the 34 games that Man United played before he arrived, our win percentage was 34%. If you look at the 34 games he's played for us, the win percentage is 65%. He's almost doubled the amount of games that we win. So for me, I can't have anything but love for a person who has been a huge catalyst in that being achieved.
But one fact I also say in Pogba's defense is that we've got to look at the end of last season. Not last season. The end of when Oli came in. Pogba was playing the same.